Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Christine. I am a new mama of two little girls. My oldest is Parker, my youngest is Elliott. The video this is about is my youngest, Elliott. I'm going to share with you my labor and delivery with her. If you want to see my oldest daughter's labor and delivery video, I'll leave that down below, the story video down below. So guys, I gave birth to my youngest 6'6", 18, and she has been a bundle of joy since she got here. She has fit in so well with our family. She's actually sleeping in her little bouncy thing on the island back there with her white noise going, so I don't disturb her. But pretty much I went in for a scheduled induction. I did get an epidural. You want a natural labor and delivery story, this is not for you. So a little background: whenever I had my first daughter, my epidural failed, and it failed twice. They put in a new one 2 times. There was a very inexperienced doctor there that inserted it too far. They pulled it too far out. It was just like a mess. So like I said, that video is down below if you want to learn more about my first experience. It really settled in, and I had accepted that if my epidural doesn't work, I survived the first time, I will survive this time. So I was pretty at ease, but it was just a different experience. So I woke up at 5 o'clock that morning, was getting everything ready. I broke my heart that I couldn't say bye to my little girl, but I'd already said my goodbyes and told her how much I loved her and everything the night before. My scheduled induction was for 7 a.m. So we got to the hospital a little before that, and it was packed. Like last time I was able to get right in, I got the best room, and this time I wait 30 minutes to go in and get the stuff all set up. So 30 minutes go by and we go in. I'm in this like operating looking room, and I was so confused. They're like, this is our C-section suite. And then the girl left, and I was like, I'm not getting a C-section, am I? That's weird. And then another nurse came in and she's like, wow, you're having twins? You're really small for having twins. I was like, huh? She's like, okay, let's get you ready for your C-section to have your twins. And I'm sitting there looking around like, what did I miss? What did I miss? Because I'm so confused. And it turns out that the girl that was there was a woman that was supposed to come into that room that they rescheduled her induction for later that night. C-section with twins. So yeah, I was freaking out a little bit, as you can imagine. Since the hospital is completely full, I had to stay there for, I want to say like 4 hours I was in that room. So I get there, met my nurse, my new nurse, after the other people came in and made that havoc like crazy. I got my actual nurse for the day. She got me all hooked up. Garrett, once he saw that I was settled and everything, we got everything cleared up, knowing that I was not getting a C-section and there was only one baby coming out of me, that he went home to wake up our oldest, Parker. And it was hard, him not being there the whole time, but it was also so, it helped put my mind at ease knowing that he was going to go check on her periodically throughout the day, just so she didn't feel like we abandoned her. So he went home. We live about 30 minutes away from the hospital. He's like on 2-hour windows whenever he was going back and forth. And also a thing I should note, that we made sure that no family members were at the hospital with us. Last time it was just so stressful and everybody started fighting, and it was just way too much. So that's one thing that I highly recommend, is don't have people come in and out of your room while you're in labor, or when you're in the labor and delivery room. It needs to be between you and your partner, whoever that is, just one person, because there's too many people in there. People are going to say things that are going to make you nervous or distract from what's happening and not make it your moment, because this is your moment and your partner's moment and your baby's moment that's coming into the world. So that's just my advice. And also not to have any visitors after the baby comes. So we'll get to after the baby comes. So when he left, my doctor came in and popped my water and started me on Pitocin. The worst, I hate it when they pop my water, which they did the same last time, because it just keeps gushing. It's not like it's not like someone gets a bucket and dumps it out. No, I don't know why the movies project it like that, but it's literally just like a gush, randomly trickle, whatever. So pretty much every time I would have a contraction, water would shoot out of me, and it was the worst sensation, you know, like completely, yeah. So that happened for a while. I didn't get the epidural until maybe 6 hours after they had started the Pitocin, and my contractions were going, and my contractions were picking up. Everything was going well. I just wasn't feeling them yet. And I started feeling them when they moved me into, like an hour or so after they moved me into my new room, which was so beautiful. I'll leave all the vlog videos that relate to me being in the hospital down below so you can check out the C-section room and my permanent where I was actually going to give birth to my baby. So I was progressing. I went in, I was 1.5 centimeters. I've been riding at 1 centimeter for a month before I was induced. So it was so frustrating. Every week you go and you're like, I'm gonna be a little bit more, I'm gonna be a little bit more, I'm gonna be a little bit more. 2 centimeters, I bet I'm 4 centimeters this time because I had some pretty painful contractions last night. No, it's not working like that. So every hour I was probably progressing like 1 centimeter or 1/2 centimeter. So when it came time, I started feeling a little bit, like the contractions a little bit around hour 6. I'm so weird. Like, I asked my nurse, like, do you think I should get the epidural? Not really feeling it, but is there a long line till the anesthesiologist can get to me? Like, what's the sitch? What do you recommend? She's like, I can't legally tell you when to get the epidural. And I was like, and so I literally sat there for like 30 minutes while she was filling out charts, like, should I do it? Should I not? And finally, Kira's like, oh my God, just do it. Thank goodness I did that, because as soon as the contractions started getting really painful, the anesthesiologist came in. And I told my nurse about my experience before about how the epidural didn't work. They had they tried to doctor the first epidural like 20 times. And then whenever I was 9 centimeters, they reinserted another epidural, which completely failed. So she told my anesthesiologist that I did not have a good experience, that, you know, be careful. And she actually ordered me the anesthesiologist that does C-sections. And apparently those epidurals go to work much quickly, and they last longer. So I was like, yeah, I want him. Let's get him. He comes in, he does my epidural, and it was the best experience. Like, literally one prick. Like, he wasn't freaking, he was joking the whole time. He made me feel at ease. Him and my nurse were like going back and forth, like just kind of like a brother and sister type relationship you could tell that they had. And it was just a fun, relaxing environment to be in. So he inserted my epidural. A few minutes go by, I feel it like going, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. I turned to my nurse, like, I have a good feeling about this one. Like, I'm so excited, because I could still move my toes. I could like barely move my legs. Before, I was like numb from my chest down. I could barely breathe. Yeah, it was just way too much, too quick. And then it stopped working altogether. It was, yeah. So time keeps going by. I never really had any pain. I started getting shivers. Like, I started shivering really bad. Apparently that was when my fever spiked, and I just got really nauseous. And the nurse had an assistant come in, and I was like, I don't feel good. And she wouldn't listen to me. Like, she just like, okay, well, maybe, you know, just lean up a little bit. I was like, no, I feel like I'm about to throw up. And finally I told Gary, like, you run out there now. I need a bag or something. I'm going to throw up. So just in the nick of time, they bring me a bag. Sure enough, that happened to me several times. They came in, brought a warm blanket that they had in a heater, and they put on me to help try to cool me down, or try to warm me up, because I was so cold. And then they took my temperature, and it had gotten up to 104. No, 101.4. Big difference, I know. So after that, I started feeling a little bit better, and then they upped my Pitocin, and for some reason at that point, it shot up again. And this time, which is a little bit different than the last time, is that they gave me an epidural button. So if I started feeling any pain, I could just push it, and it would help. Some medicine would come back in and like make me feel better and make the pain go away. And they didn't do that last time. It came about 6:30, and I was so wanting to have my baby when my nurses were there. They're there from 7 to 7. It's like, I have 30 minutes. I can push out this baby. I feel it. But my doctor, you know, the girl that was having twins with a C-section, turns out that's where my doctor was delivering those babies, in the operating room. So she could not come. So they told me to just close my legs, do not push. And like, she was right. Like, it was so hard to not push when they tell you not to push. So 30 minutes later, my nurses get really upset because they have to leave, and I get really upset because they had been there the whole day. You know, my last time I was able to have the baby right before the nurses left at 6:45, and so my heart was broken. Theirs was kind of broken too, but they leave. I get a new nurse, and she's like, you know what, let's go ahead and start pushing, just, you know, progress, like just to get the baby a little lower, because she's still pretty high up in there. So we start pushing, and they have nothing ready. And my doctor finally walks in. She's like, hey girl, you want to start pushing? So I was like, sure, let's keep pushing. And so I started pushing, and they're like, yeah, it's gonna be a while till you have this baby. We're gonna be here for a few hours. And I don't know what she did, she like did something down there where like I could feel where I needed to bear down, and I did one good push, and she went from being like shoved up in there in one push, and her head, like the top of her head was sticking out. They're like, oh my God, she's right there. No, this baby's gonna be born in like any second. Okay, Christine, close your legs. Do not push. Do not push. Like they were screaming, do not push whatsoever. So then her and the nurse like scrambled. They're like calling people. The nurse tells the people the wrong room. So it takes a while for the other people that are gonna help me push out Elliott, a lot longer to get there. So they're sitting there scrambling, getting everything ready. And they're like, all right, are you ready? And sure enough, one more push, and Elliott was out. And this time, it was just so beautiful because my first labor and delivery experience, Parker didn't cry. So I didn't even get to put her on my chest, do skin to skin. We didn't get to breastfeed initially. They took her away instantly. The medicine that they had given me, because the epidural didn't work, my arms were limp, I couldn't breathe. I was dazed, and it was just like, I don't really remember the experience. And so that really sucked. I really did not want that to happen this time. And that's what I told my doctors, like, I will go through the most intense pain if I can just hold my baby, you know. So this time around, they put her right on my chest, started wiping her down really well. Garrett cut the umbilical cord, and they put her on my chest so I can do skin to skin. Oh my God. I cried uncontrollably, and it was the most amazing experience. I was so happy that I was able to experience that. You know, I see so many of these videos, labor and delivery stories, about how people like instantly breastfed and did skin to skin, and like these vlogs of them actually giving birth and they were crying, and it's just like this moment. And I finally got to have that moment, and I'm so thankful and grateful and just so happy that I got to experience that. So yeah, so she latched on instantly. This one is helping me with this video right now, but yeah, it was just a beautiful experience. And as soon as Elliott was born, that was the time Parker had to go down for her bedtime. So pretty much Garrett stayed there for maybe after I delivered the placenta, and they cleaned me all up, and they took Elliott to give her first bath. He left because you get like an hour with just you and your husband and the baby, just so you can bond and just have that initial moment, which I didn't get to have last time. I pretty much passed out, and Garrett had to hold Parker for 2 hours before I could even, you know, realize where I was. So it was an amazing experience, guys, and I'm just so excited that the way it went. I couldn't have asked for a better labor and delivery. And yeah, so guys, thank you so much for watching. I know this video was really long. I hope you had yourself a drink or a coffee. But anyways, I love you guys very much, and I will see you next time. Bye.